are going back live. Okay, we're back. I'm sorry, my internet decided to take a dump because it's not very nice. But um, so Brian's still here, Niema's still here, and I am back. So sorry about that, everyone. It happens, and now people have to funnel in, which I do hope you funnel in because come back. We had a couple of people listening. Um,
You must have Suddenlink.
so, oh my gosh, come on. Okay, so Brian, last thing I heard, and before it just went bleh, was basically they're not stupid.
Well, I was kind of elaborating. They're not stupid. They've been avoiding us for this long. Every single time, we go out into the woods and we try to seek them out, they outclass us, hands down out in the woods. They move quieter. They avoid us. We're not going to catch them. They're faster than we are. So, to underestimate them, uh, it's foolhardy. They are, when we go into their environment, we're basically at their mercy. They could take us out anytime they wanted to. And so, when it comes down to, what are they, and how do you classify them or categorize them? Well, I would say two things. Number one, they're definitely not dumb apes. They are potentially, you know, our equals. Frightening to think. Um, Apparently, they are, you know, of pretty high intelligence. But the other thing is what I try to remind everybody. Everybody tries to, put them on a box and to categorize them, and be able to put them up on a shelf somewhere with a nice label. We don't know anything about them. I mean, when you really sit down and you look at what we do know, it's minuscule. Um, we don't have enough information to categorize them or to figure them out. So they would probably laugh if they knew, and they can laugh, and they do. They would probably laugh at us trying to figure out, what they are. So,
Do you think that they're just as curious as you are?
oh yeah, they demonstrate it all the time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they come in and they watch and they move around, and they're always there's reports after reports after reports of them just watching people, from a distance, and watching children. Everybody freaks out about them watching children. Okay, um, I'm just going to say this. I'm not trying to say there is zero chance of a Sasquatch stealing your child. Okay, but I'm just going to say this. Do you really think that that's the first time that Sasquatch has sat there and watched your child play in the backyard? If this is the case, no, no, it's probably been going on for a long time. They watch all of us. Anytime they get a chance. I mean, they don't have internet, so we're their primary source of entertainment. They throw rocks into our campsite. They make noises, and they watch our reactions. And I honestly believe that most of the stuff that we hear of the twigs snapping and stuff, they're doing that on purpose, so they can watch us. And they'll sneak into camp. They'll go through stuff. I've had them come into camp and get in the cooler and not take anything. They're just nosy. They're trying to learn.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
This actually brings up something Angie asks, and welcome back, Angie. Do you think they enjoy messing with investigators and outsmarting them?
Well, I hope they're enjoying it at least. Yeah. I know that they have been able to, let me know that they're there, and you know, keep me at a distance. Yeah, I'm sure they do. I know that there's. I'm pretty sure they have a sense of humor. And the reason why I say that is you hear, there's a lot of audio recordings that you can find on the internet of them laughing. and you can hear it. It's kind of like a big, deep belly laugh. So, what is that? I don't know. I think laughing is kind of a natural thing um, for us higher primates. Even monkeys laugh.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm sure that they have a sense of humor, and I'm sure they like tormenting us, and they kind of do.
You know what? Let's move on to a little bit of the investigation side of things and what goes into it. So, to start, how do you prepare for an investigation?
Well, of course, there's a lot of gear you want to take with you. I have a backpack that I take out in the field with me, and anytime I'm going somewhere that I know is within reason, possibly a place, I'll take it. I've got everything in there from plaster for casting footprints. I actually carry two different types of plaster. I got good plaster and cheap plaster, and the cheap plaster is the one I use on the old crappy footprints. One of these days, I'm going to run into a set of footprints that are really high quality, and I'm looking forward to that day. The kind that have the dermal ridges, and you can see the mid tarsal break. I hope that day is soon. I'm just chomping at the bit. I want to cast one of those really beautiful footprints one of these days. That's kind of a goal of mine, because so far all I'm getting is terrible footprints. And but yeah, I've always got a measuring stick, and I always try to make sure that I have plenty of you know record time and stuff like that. We carry when we actually go out on expeditions. I carry a FLIR monocular so that at night you can see heat. I always carry my headphones. I did a little review on my headphones. I love my headphones. I've got a pair of headphones that were actually designed for shooting, and instead of when you fire a gun, it actually deadens the sound of the gunfire and protects your hearing. But when there's not a gun going off, it actually amplifies it, and it's kind of like listening to, or it's kind of like having hearing aids or something on there. But
Wow.
when I put these things on, I can hear really good, and you can hear things that other people can't off in the distance. And it also helps to hear things that are moving around the campsite too.
Okay.
And
Wow, that's pretty cool, actually.
yeah, there's a lot
Now
of
my
gadgetry.
paranoid bud, I kind of want to look into that now. But no, that
Well,
is that is
I did a video on the ones that I use. I'm not going to say they're the best out there. There's probably a better product, but those Peltors that I did the review on, they're amazing. They only have one real weakness, and unfortunately in Oklahoma there's a lot of wind sometimes. But
Mm.
if it's really windy, those things do not do you any good, because all you can hear is the wind.
okay.
But at night, everything settles down, and you can hear really good.
I think we're gonna have to send Neima out there and put her to work and investigate with you.
We can like daub some peanut butter on her and send her out, tie her to a tree.
Use me as bait?
Actually, you know what though? I am curious about that. Do you think there is a different response when investigating with females versus males?
You know, yes, there really is. Sometimes I question what the motives are. If you get my hint,
Yeah, wink, wink.
um, well, the Native Americans, many tribes, they talk about, the Sasquatch males stealing their women, and well, it's kind of a frightening thought, but it's not like human beings haven't got a history of doing the same. So, personally myself, I would not leave a woman alone in the woods. I think there's no sense in tempting fate. Um, you know, But then again, there's also been reports of female Sasquatches trying to coax men. Uh, I'm just going to leave that one there.
I'm not. I won't ask if you know this from experience, but
Nope, nope, nope. I read a report one time, and I was just like, holy moly,
but that is
you know.
interesting though because it gives you a different dynamic now. Now it's like, okay, well, and I
Mhm.
would be the jerk that actually like Neima, you're on your own. Bye bye. So here's a
Yeah,
cookie trail.
you
I
trip
love
her
you.
and run,
I'm
right?
yeah, I
I'm
love
so
you,
glad I'm
Neima,
a good
but you
runner.
know, this
Ever
is
the
for the group.
gentleman.
Um,
Oh,
but
yeah,
that
they do. They really do, though. I've got a friend. I shouldn't mention his name because I don't have his permission. But even his wife, him and his wife are, I guess you'd say, um, older than me, and his wife has really white hair, and he has noticed that they show up more whenever she is there, and I think that the coloring of the hair and stuff like that would be even more of. I mean, if I had hair, I would color it, but yeah, I think the wild and crazy colored hair and stuff like that. I think that would really draw their attention and really spark their curiosity too. And something to think about when you sit down and you look at the sheer number of people that go into the woods, the ones that they see, why you're going to have to realize that probably nine out of 10 of the people that go in the woods are males. And so any woman is probably going to be, they'll be like, oh, I think that one's female. And so there's going to be some curiosity
okay. Um, so do you use any other equipment besides the your what was it called monocular and the headphones, or do you prefer to go more bare bones and see you can wear a wig? I'm sorry, that's what Angie said.
there.
um,
What she said.
she said you can wear a wig about the hair.
Yeah, I
Um,
probably should.
um, but
Those are so hot, though.
do you use any other equipment aside from the monocular and the headphones, or do you prefer a more bare bones, closer to nature type of investigation where you're tracking and feeling, using your senses more, I want to say, than relying on technology?
Well, the use of technology implies that, if you take a camera into the field, that implies that you want to get a photo of it.
Okay.
So my goals are a little bit different, I think, than most people's goals. I have a group of, team goals that we have for the Red Dirt Cryptid Investigations. I've also got a set of personal goals. My personal goal is I want to. I'll be fine if I never see another dog man again. Okay, but I do want to kind of keep track of dog man sightings. Just kind of keep an eye on them. But so as far as Sasquatch goes, I've never seen one. I believe I've been in close proximity to one, but I want to see one. I want to see one with my own eyes, preferably in the daylight. That would be nice. But I think my desire to actually see one firsthand greatly outweighs my desire to actually film one. And so, the filming thing, I don't, even if I got some really good video footage of one up close, it, it's it'd be kind of cool to show your friends and stuff, but 9 out of 10 people you show it to are just going to think you're a liar.
Yeah. Actually, I was gonna just about to ask that. How do you deal with skeptics who are
Yeah.
saying it's the wild goose chase? You're chasing a bear. It's your imagination.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, to answer your first question, I believe the more technology you use, the more it's going to drive them away. I've learned that from uh, my friend Troy Hudson. He doesn't even really like using flashlights, and I think he's right. But the whole naysayers, what do you say to naysayers? Um, here's what I say to them. This is extreme, but is the Earth round or flat? Well, they're going to say the same thing you would say, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's round. Well, how do you know? Well, you've been told that your whole life, right? You've seen pictures, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's common knowledge, right?
Yep.
Well, can pictures be faked?
Yes, they can.
Yeah. Have we been lied to by society before?
I would say so.
So technically, the only reason why you think that the Earth is round is because of hearsay. You don't really know for yourself. You've never been to outer space. Can you truly believe the people that went to outer space? I don't know. Why don't you look that one up on YouTube and see what kind of answers you get?
I have, unfortunately.
Oh, there's another rabbit hole.
Yeah. I'm not going down that one tonight.
Yeah. It, you just don't have enough information. They don't have enough information. Nobody has enough information. Until you've actually seen one, you have the luxury, and when I say luxury, I mean true luxury of not believing, okay, not knowing. Once I saw that, that giant dog, that really opened my eyes, and you just can't unsee these things. You wish you could, but you can't. And so they are just exploiting a luxury that they possess, and you really can't concern yourself with that crowd because number one, you're not going to learn anything from them. That's what I want. I want knowledge. I want to know what the people in Northwest Oklahoma and all of Oklahoma and Texas and Kansas and Arkansas and Missouri. I want to know what those people know. I'm a sponge. I want to soak up their knowledge. I want to learn and see what they know so that maybe, I can put all this information together and we can pattern them and then we can actually go out and have an experience, a real experience, And I'm more interested in communicating with them than I am with getting them on film. Getting them on film is, I don't want to take my eyes off of one long enough to mess with my stupid camera.
Poof, gone.
Yeah, they say if you break eye contact with them, they're gone. So I don't want to break eye contact with them long enough.
Okay, so in this country, the U.S., what cryptids do you believe are real, and which ones do you think are questionable, and the ones that you're just like, no? Yes, I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay. I gotta say, I think the Oklahoma octopus, which yes, there are 3 lakes in Oklahoma that people have reported giant octopus living in. I gotta say, I struggle with that one. That's and but the rest of them, Thunderbird,
Mm-hmm.
I believe they at least were real at one time. One of my personal favorites is the pterodactyls. Lyle Blackburn did a video on those. I think it's called the Oklahoma Flyer, and I find that fascinating. The Dogman, of course. I struggle with whether or not the Dogman is a physical creature or a spiritual creature. Sasquatch. I believe that there's such a thing out there as chupacabras. But the problem I have with chupacabra is every city slicker out there that sees a mangy coyote running around the countryside thinks it's a chupacabra, and it's like, you folks need to get out in the country a little bit more, get some sunshine, get out of your mama's basement. That's another thing I have a problem with is everybody everybody that is out there is an outdoor enthusiast or an experienced outdoorsman. You know, I'm just like, oh man, these people, they don't,
Like, come over
you
here,
know,
I'll show you the outdoors.
I can see that.
they, everybody that was in Boy Scouts for a year thinks that they're an experienced outdoorsman. Okay. Um, there is a difference, and a real outdoorsman can see right through you. Okay. I'm just telling you that right now. But let's see, what was another one? Uh, the Sheepsquatch thing. That's uh, that's pretty far out there, but I'm definitely not going to call anybody a liar.
Okay.
But that's hard for me to wrap my head around. The Wendigo. I believe that to be a spiritual entity, perhaps a demon. You know, I believe that demons masquerade as a lot of things, and I believe that they'll present themselves to humans in many forms. You know, whatever form suits them. Perhaps even whatever form. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. Um, Perhaps whatever form they know that that individual will be the most easily influenced by, because they know you. But it's kind of hard to say. A lot of times, it's really hard to tell what the difference is, and how to differentiate between a demon masquerading as something it's not, and a real live cryptid like a Sasquatch. So pretty tough. It's a tough call.
Now, I want to go back to the Thunderbird for a minute. Now, I probably should have done more deeper research on this, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't a hoax. But in the 1800s, I want to say it was Arizona, they caught, they caught, I should rather, they killed what they believed to be a Thunderbird. And they actually took a picture of this, and it's pretty big, and it actually more so resembles a pterodactyl. And the
Mm-hmm.
interesting thing is, the scientists are now saying that, of course, dinosaurs evolved into modern day birds, and that dinosaurs, some of them actually have feathers, such as a velociraptor, and how they're portrayed in Jurassic Park is not accurate at all, but whatever. It's a movie. So perhaps the Thunderbird is or was an actual prehistoric dino era animal, Jurassic era animal. And if they
Mm-hmm.
are correct and it had feathers, then that could explain why we see it more as a bird than, I mean, even though, they evolved into birds, but we see it as a bird than, say, a flying lizard or reptile in general.
Mm-hmm. From a distance, you wouldn't even be able to tell if they had feathers or not.
No, you wouldn't.
So,
So, but
and the way things are up in the sky when you're looking at them and the sun's shining down on the daytime, it would even make it hard to discern color. When it comes to, because the whole underside, which is what you're looking at, is going to be shadowed. And but no, I believe that there's a lot of well, we know that pterodactyls existed. I mean, every scientist out there will say, yes, they did exist. And most of them will say, well, they went extinct a long time ago. And that's totally possible. And I've seen those pictures that you were talking about. And there's more than just that incident. I actually believe that there was also a newspaper article in, I'm going to say it was like the 1870s, from south central Oklahoma. I can't remember what county it was, but where a farmer actually shot one with, I believe, a 12-foot wingspan and killed it. And I guess they had it on display there for a while, and finally, I guess it started to stink, and so they buried it. But that was a long time ago. But back in 1870, I mean, where would they get that? How would they? I mean, how would they pull that one out of their keister? That really wasn't that long ago. When you consider how long ago it was that how long ago that they supposedly went extinct. I do have a philosophy, a theory on that, and I think that if they went nocturnal,
Mm.
if they started hunting by night, which we have had reports of that, I think they would be a lot harder to come across and find. And perhaps, they have a metabolism like an alligator, where they only have to come out and eat, once every several weeks. And if they're preying on deer by night and small animals, I mean, theoretically, we would never really be able to locate them or see them. We might see something flying over in front of the moon, but we wouldn't get a good enough look at them for a second to be able to figure out what they were, or judge the distance and disseminate what size they are. How do you tell that between that and a bat? I mean, it depends on how close it is how big it looks. You don't know. And that we've had reports of this is kind of not exactly super public information, but we have had reports about oil field workers out in western Oklahoma who were working on what we call tank battery, and they were up on top of the tank battery of an evening, and they were being attacked by some kind of giant bird-like creature at night, and they got away, of course, but because they were up on that tank battery, they got down and got in a truck. But I don't know what to make of it. We're trying to find out who these people are, but people will not come forward with this kind of stuff because we're over here in the Bible Belt, and people are scared to come out and say what they really saw. Afraid of ridicule and persecution and stuff. And there was a couple of reports down by Lake Overholser in Oklahoma City metro area. Just northwest of Oklahoma City metro area, where there's two different sightings by two different people. And so I'm going to theorize that they could still be out there. They still could be running around breeding, small breeding population. But my theory is I think if they are still alive, I think they've probably adapted and gone nocturnal. But that's just my opinion, my thoughts.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good one because habits do change over time and you adapt and you have to adapt to live. So I think you might be on to something. I think it's totally plausible. And we have a couple of questions for you from the chat. Angie wants to know, do you collect Native American lore about Sasquatch? Did you ever investigate with Native Americans?
Well, I do. I do have some friends who are Native Americans, and when they talk, I listen. And you know, they've got more experience with them. At one time, many of these tribes, these Native American people, they traded with them. I'm not going to mention any names, but I've got a friend who says that his grandfather, who was a medicine man, used to trade medicine with them. Now, you throw that out there, that spawns 100 questions, you know. But yeah, I value their input, because they have insight that we don't. They know things that they're not telling. And I think that the Native American people are trying to protect them, and rightly so. And so that's good. So yes, to answer your question, I do try to listen to them as much as possible. I like going to powwows and listening to stories, and I'm all ears when they're talking. So I soak up wisdom, and they're one of the best sources. And what was the other question?
She wanted to know if you investigated with them. If you ever investigated with them.
Uh, I've been out on some little expeditions with some, but as far as like actually going out with them, no. I'm waiting for an invite though. But Native Americans, the First Nation people, they are in. They're if they're smart to be careful with us, and I'm talking about, you know, non First Nations people. They're a little gun shy, rightly so. And if there's one thing that I can say that I'm a little ashamed of is, the Americans have a bad habit of going out and discovering new things and killing it. That's what we do, and we need to change that. And I'm just saying, I could understand why they would be skeptical about asking, anybody like me to go out into one of their, the reservations or whatnot, where they encounter these people.
And okay, so this stumped me. I have no idea what this is, but have you ever heard of something called swamp babies?
Heard of swamp ape?
Yeah, I'm familiar with
Uh,
the swamp ape, but I never heard of swamp babies. That
I
one's
don't know. That's a new one on me, but
so
I'm all
Dice.
ears.
You're gonna have to elaborate on that for us. We're both. Unless Neema, do you know?
Swamp babies. Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, you never know. You can bust out some knowledge.
Maybe they're talking about the little
Swamp
people.
babies.
Yeah.
The little people have a lot of different names.
Oh, who are the
Um,
little people?
well, I've never had any experiences with them, but I'm trying to think of what they call mugwais.
Okay.
Um, I think they're more prevalent up in New England or whatnot, and in Hawaii. But they're basically little people that are mischievous and sometimes helpful. Sometimes, I've never had any experience with them. I know. I like to blame them when stuff comes up missing around the house because it definitely couldn't be my children. But you know, I don't really have. I don't know much about them, but and I'm not aware of any reports in my area of them. So
Okay, and this is an interesting one. Not sure if you ever gotten this one before, but Angie also asks if you believe in fairies.
well,
You don't have to answer if you don't
well,
want to.
no. I think there might. The more and more this paranormal rabbit hole, the more and more, the deeper you get into it, the more you open up more doors and more possibilities.
Mhm.
And the minute the minute that you close your mind is the minute that you quit learning. Okay, and I've seen some things, you know, and I've often wondered if fairies could be, something that's real. And there's way too many historical mention all across the world about them. And so I'm gonna say I've never seen one, but I believe that anything could be. But I would say that fairies would probably dabble into something that was more spiritual than physical. But I'm not educated enough to know. I'd like to meet one, especially if they got some pixie dust hooked up. I'm ready to go.
And now let's see what else we have here. Oh, okay. So, and this is some information you might want to look into. So, Dice is saying that on a Sasquatch channel he was watching, they said that the land between lakes is actually one of the best places to look for them. In your experiences, do you think that's correct?
Well, I think he's talking about the LBL area, the land between the lakes, and I only know what I know from watching podcasts and stuff and listening to Bigfoot case files about the LBL. Um, so yeah, I don't think if they are in my area, I am completely ignorant of their presence. But you know, like I said, I do try to focus on stuff that's closer to my area, you know, within a 3 or 4 state region. So when you start getting up there around Michigan and Ohio, up there, it's I don't know. I don't know much about it, but you know, I'll probably be doing some research on it. You know, swamp. I've never heard of swamp babies before.
Yeah, I mean, well, you see, that's the beauty of things like this. You come to teach us, and you walk away learning something yourself.
Yeah, well, there's all kinds of stuff out there. I'm by no means the master of all. So
Give me 1 second here. I am running into a small issue and just trying to fix it super quick. Okay, so here's one also for you. Have you ever turned down an investigation?
yes, yes. I had a lady that reached out to me. She was from Ohio. I'm not going to say any more than that. And it was just too far. You know, I live in Oklahoma, and I'm a school teacher, so you know, I don't have endless funds, I guess you'd say. You know, she was definitely out of my reach, but you know, she was having some really serious issues with what she thought was Sasquatches, and you know, we don't know, but I really believe that she was dealing with demonic presences, and you know,
Wow.
my heart really goes out to her because she was going through hell, but um, and I need to touch it. It's been a couple weeks since I've talked to her, but you know, I try to listen to her and you know, just let her. I think the mind, you know, certain situations, there's not a whole lot you can do for people other than just let them know you care.
Yeah.
Um, and I do, but you know, sometimes that's just a little too far. But you know, if somebody in my area was having issues and was scared, you know, you know, we've already talked about it. Me and my team, you know, we've already talked about, you know, going out there and spending the night if we have to, and you know, just trying to get people to feel better, and you know, because there's a lot of things that you can do to keep Sasquatches, you know, away, you know, especially from your immediate home. Um, but at the end of the day, there is no real good answer other than pack up and move, you know, and get the heck out of Dodge. So, but yeah, I don't really, as long as it's within reasonable distance for me to drive, you know, we'll go out, talk to you. I want to start doing more on-site investigations. I want to start doing videos where um, I actually do like a little YouTube video of you know, where the actual incident happened with the eyewitness, and actually let them tell their story. You know, I did a little video about a guy named Damien, and I went out and I kind of interviewed him, but I hadn't put it all together. And when I got done talking to Damien and taking a little video footage and stuff, I was driving away, and I was like, man, I really need to turn this into a, you know, and I was sad because I missed the opportunity to do a better interview with him. I was mainly concerned about documenting it on paper. I wasn't really documenting it correctly, and so the video was turned out to be subpar, you know. But I want to start going out and interviewing people on location where their encounters happen.
You know, that would be
And
really good too.
Yeah.
That would because you'll hear it from their words, and you'll see
yeah,
their facial expression, and you'll feel that emotion.
right. You know, there's something powerful in that. Um, you know, when it's actually that person, it's not just hearsay.
Hmm.
You know, I know that I was pretty much a skeptic until I was listening to Sasquatch Chronicles, and I heard that, you know, there's that British lady that saw the Sasquatch on the beach, and you know, it's pretty famous. It's in his intro on his podcast, And you could just tell by listening to that lady's voice. You know, you could hear her voice trembling as she was telling the story, and you could tell that she was reliving it in her mind. And that was kind of a defining moment in me. It's like this woman is kind of messed up, you know, probably for life because of what she saw. And I think people need an outlet. They need to be able to talk about their things. They need a safe place to talk. You know, I listen to people's stories. You know, I want to know what they know, and I don't care really how crazy it is. You know, I mean, I don't care how crazy you are. I'll give you an hour of my time. You know, um, I want to hear what you got to hear, and I'll write it down, and I'll log it. You know, and whoever came up with the very first Dogman sighting, everybody probably thought they were nuts. You know, but as more and more of them came in and started pouring in, you know, credibility started to increase on that subject matter. So you never know. You might be the unlucky person to see the first of a certain type of cryptid.
Neima, out of curiosity, what cryptids do you believe in?
I mean, I would definitely believe in Sasquatch. Um, Definitely the dog that Brian said he saw in one of his videos.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty interesting and stuff like that. But I don't really know. I'm not really schooled in it.
Oh, yeah, let's be honest. You're just one of those skeptic people. You know, why are you here? Why are you wasting our time? Get out. You're done.
To be a skeptic.
Everybody needs to be a little bit of a skeptic.
Yeah, well, yeah, because if you're not, you go too wild, and
Oh
you know
yeah.
every you could just the imagination can run very wild.
I do not. That is one thing that I think makes you know a well-rounded individual is you know, even you know, I cannot tell you how many times I've tried to justify what I saw in my mind. It, you know, my brain wants to put what I saw in a neat, tidy little box and say, well, this is what that is. We'll just put it up there and we're done with it. You just can't. I mean, when I first saw it, you know, that was I think 2008, and it was 2007, 2008. Don't quote me on that. You know, it's kind of one of those things. I didn't know what I saw at the time, so it's not like I got on my calendar and I wrote it down. I was just driving down the road one day and I saw something I wasn't supposed to see, and you know, so time goes by, but you saw back in the infancy of the internet. You know, you would see these pictures of these little bitty tiny chicks. You know, these little pretty girls, and they got this giant behemoth dog sitting next to them, and you know, of course, you know the size comparison to the little tiny 5'3", you know, debutante chick thing, you know, with the monster beast right next to it. You know, the dog looks huge. You know, and I was just like, well, I guess that's what I saw. You know, I immediately called my brother. You know, because I was concerned about his dogs, and you know, we didn't even know what to call it. You know, we used to call it the wolf dog, and we talked about it, and it got to the point to where I think my brother had found tracks from this thing down on our one of our other farms, and you know, he'd found tracks, and I'd actually seen the dang thing, and you know, we just called it the wolf dog. We didn't know what else to call it, you know, and finally, you know, I stumbled across people referring to this dog man thing, and suddenly it had a name. You know, it had a legitimate name. So, no.
We are going to start wrapping it up. Um, so just a few more things. Um, what is the ultimate goal for Red Dirt Cryptid Investigations?
Well, we've got a lot of little mini goals, but you know, I would say our ultimate goal is to create a safe place that was, you know, fairly well known throughout our area, where people would feel comfortable calling us, and they would know that whatever they tell us, you know, if you tell us you want your name to be confidential, you want your location to be confidential, we just want to build trust with our community, with the people in our state and our neighboring states. And we want them to be able to call us and completely feel at ease telling us the truth about what they've seen. That way, we can begin amassing information about this stuff. I'd also like to, earn the people's trust so that I can get eventually we always joke around about how my ultimate goal is for somebody to be able to check out our Facebook page, watch my YouTube videos with the other guys and, my other team members. And, they actually watch enough that they actually feel like they know us. And they feel like, that's somebody I could trust. And my goal is eventually to be able to get a level of trust built up in the community where I get that phone call, the phone call that every researcher and investigator has always wanted. Hey, my name's so-and-so, and I've got a family of Bigfoot living out on my property. Would you like me to introduce you to them? That sounds crazy, isn't it? But what could be better?
Yeah.
I definitely don't want a dead body dropped off in my front porch.
Well, no, let's not. There'll be some questions there, but
I'd rather shake one's hand, I guess you could say. But yeah, that's kind of our goals. I want to build like a community trust and let people know they can trust us, and they don't have to. They're not going to get ridiculed. I've been ridiculed, borderline shamed and embarrassed, and it's just like, to hell with them people. To hell with cruel people. I've got better things to do than waste time on people that are just mean and hateful and, just crappy. I want people to understand that there is a safe place, and we want to be able to go out and, of course, see them, investigate them, and learn more. And, I don't know where it ends. Where does it end? Who knows? But, if Red Dirt Cryptid Investigations ever disappears off the internet, why, you'll know that we probably got to meet some, or they ate us. One of the two. I don't know.
Okay. What advice can you give to a new generation of cryptid investigators? Because, it seems like as time goes on, more and more people are getting into this and they are being a bit more open. And, with youth comes stupidity. So, what advice can you give some of them?
Well, I'm just going to say a couple of things. Number one, you're going to have to, if you really want to have an experience and know something that's not just secondhand information. If you want firsthand information, you're going to have to go out and get it. In order to do that, you're going to have some basic outdoor skills. And you can watch all these YouTube videos and bushcraft shows, but you're going to have to actually get out there and build a campfire and sit out there and be in nature. So the more you do that, the more comfortable. I mean, you're not going to go out there the first time and have an experience. It's not going to be that way, and that's a crack pipe fairy tale dream. You're going to have to go out there, and you're going to have to spend a lot of hours out there. But you're also going to have to try to do your best to figure out where they're at. So you're going to have to do your own research in your own area, find out where some of your hot spots are, and you're just going to have to go camping. You're going to have to get a tick or two. You're going to have to get out the bug spray or the sunscreen, and you're going to have to get out there, and you're going to have to get your boots dirty. The other thing that a couple of, I guess you could say technical things that I would suggest is get you a cheap digital audio recorder and set it up every night, put it someplace and record what's going on around your campsite. Most people that are in the know, they do know that, they're the Sasquatch people. They do tend to, talk and walk around camp, and you can get all that on audio. Don't waste your time with trail cameras. That's a waste of money. setting up cameras. They'll probably do more to scare them away than bring them in. Use audio recorders, and I wouldn't waste my time trying to bait them. Using food and stuff like that. You probably got a better chance of drawing them in with marbles or something, some curiosity like that. But food, I think, is a mistake.
Okay.
But yeah, you're just going to have to get out there and you're going to have to immerse yourself in it. You ain't going to prove anything to yourself sitting at home watching YouTube videos and watching podcasts.
You got that, Neima?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm expecting you to boot up and suit up. I'm gonna see your tiny butt out there, man. I want you in
Expecting
some.
me?
Yeah, I want to see that.
That cat looked like a really good bait right there.
Oh no, not my baby.
So Brian, where can people watch your content? Where can they contact you? What's all the
Well,
good info?
I am. I'm not a boomer, but I'm getting there, and so my technology skills are subpar. If the best way to get a hold of me is to look us up on look us up on Facebook. Facebook is, sadly, I'm showing my age, but that's still our primary platform. If you go there and send a request and answer three questions, we'll add you to the group, and you will, if you follow our group, by the way, our Facebook page, I try to post what I consider to be pseudo educational videos, some kind of video with a little bit of insight into their personality or some kind of quirk, something I think that's patternable. So go ahead and watch the videos, and you might be able to learn a little bit about their behaviors and the mannerisms. But you can always message me on Messenger. You can email me if you still believe in email at Red Dirt Cryptids. And the Cryptids is plural, but it's Red Dirt Cryptids at gmail.com.
Okay.
And you can send me an email. And I think if you go to our Facebook page, if you go into, I think it's files, I think you can actually find my phone number is in there too if you want to call me. I always tell people if you're gonna call me out of the blue, make sure you text me first. That way I know you're not trying to reach me about my car's extended warranty. And but you can always hit me up on Messenger. You can send me emails. If you go to Facebook, you can get my phone number and reach out and give me a shout out. I love talking to people. Love folks.
Okay. And thank you so much for coming on. And those links, I will have to remember to put them in the description because things messed up. But I will definitely do that. Neima, anything coming up for you? Anything special?
Just the new Twitch channel, and that's about it.
You want to elaborate on that?
So I do have a new Twitch channel. It's under Mystic Dealer, so I'll just be doing my artwork and stuff like that.
Okay. And Angie says your cat is stunning.
Oh, thank you.
Um, so let's see. For Unexplained Possibilities, once we hit 300 subs, we will be doing another giveaway, and Angie will be the one behind it. So, hit that sub button, guys. And Brian, we want to thank you again for coming on and sharing your knowledge with us. Like, awesome.
Well, it
And
was an
hopefully
honor.
we can get you back on too in the future.
Sure, anytime. I've
Uh,
enjoyed it.
And while at it, guys, while you check out that description box, remember to follow Unexplained Possibilities on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and Instagram. And big shout out to Angie, who is in Slovakia. It's like 3 a.m. and she's supporting us.
Oh my
Wow.
So thank you so much to Angie K. And with that said, remember, guys, there are things that go bump in the night. Go ahead and tell them hi.